Carmen, can you tell us where the dirt came from for this?
This dirt came from right here in the Martinez hacienda. The dirt for this kind of work has to be more clay, or it doesn't have to have that much sand or anything. This is just the right type of dirt. And the reason it is because it used to be at one time farming land. And so it was, I guess you might call it well fertilized, and it's soft. And it's easy to work with.
Say, Carmen.
Yeah.
Why don't you use super glue to hold this together?
Then it'll burn off, and you know how those super glues are. You know, I've been trying a lot of things on my fireplaces and things. And sometimes they insist I'd use, you know, certain things. And I tell them, well, it's going to crack. You know, because I know it's going to crack. And they don't believe me. And when they crack, he says, well, I guess you know what you're doing. And of course I said I did, but ahora le ponemos esto que está en redondo. Well, at least that stayed.
Well, what's your name?
Eli.
Eli. How do you like working for Carmen, Eli?
Pretty good.
She said you'd say you didn't like working for her.
Sometimes I have a hangover.
I have to keep my mouth shut when he's got a hangover. We're not being taped, are we?
Oh yeah, we're rolling here.
Oh no.
How long have you been working together, you two?
About 2 years.
Seems like you know what she needs, and you can take care of keeping the mud going and all.
Yeah, a lot of mud.
Yeah, they work with me just about everywhere. Him and James and another fellow.
What was it you were telling us before when the camera wasn't on about your grandmother, Carmen?
Oh, that I was brought up by my grandparents. Old. But it was very common in those days to do this because we lived in the same house. Well, I'm glad she did give me away to my grandmother because my grandmother taught me how to build the fireplaces, the hornos, and all of the mud work that women used to do in those days. And then also, in those days, my grandfather was also building rooms. He did a lot of work for the Fosters and a lot of work for different artists in the area. Like the first Taos 7, he used to work for them, and for Mabel Dodge Lujan. He did some work for Fetch, and he did some work for Kenneth Adams, and most of the old artists. So we were either always putting vigas, latias, and all those things.
Where was your grandmother from?
She was from the Ranchos area, but she was part Indian, part Taos Indian, and part Apache. And her father was on the Apache side, and her mother was on the Taos Indian side. And my father was Spanish, and my grandfather was half Mexican and half, I think it was French. On his mother's side, his name was Pope, on his mother's side. So the whole family, as we grew older, you know, I had, let's see, we're living now, 7 brothers and sisters. We were in the family, and a lot of them are very talented out of the family. They're all very talented. One of them, Julian, went to college and educated himself, and he is the only one in the family that has a college education. The rest of us, I just finished the 8th grade, but I went to GED classes and got my diploma, and then I also went to classes to learn photography, law pertaining to building, and how to carry on my business. And I've done a lot of things that, you know, that I have had to educate myself to be able to keep on. And my children and grandchildren are learning this. They are very much interested. I never push anyone to learn my trade or anything. It has to come naturally, like it did to me. Besides the fireplace building and the horno building and all that my grandparents taught me, I learned how to put vigas, latias, raja, lay walls. I can easily lay like maybe 450 to 500 adobes an hour if someone is mixing the mud and I have to, you know, work fast at it.
How did you get those bricks to come out so even on the top?
Over here?
Right on the end over there.
Oh, the mud. It's the bottom layer of mud. You just put the mud even, and the adobes come like that. And then as I go building, I go closing it in. So, and the adobes are different length, and I mean, they're okay, but they're different widths. I guess the ground was wetter on some places than in others. So.
What, did the adobe dry differently?
Yes. You see, some of it lay in wet ground and some lay in like this one is a thin one. See, so this probably was in dry ground. And there's others that are dried in wet earth, and when they're dried in wet earth, then they are thicker. like that one at the end. It's got the earth that was wet. Like this, so that the thing doesn't stick there. Put straw, and then I'll put straw and put adobes around.
Is this where the hole is going to go?
Yeah.
Is that for
the smoke.
the draft and the smoke?
And the smoke, yeah. And then you cover this up with a stone. When you get a round stone and wrap it in a burlap and put it in there and plaster it.